Ever catch yourself in the backyard, trusty air rifle in hand, and think, yeah, this just isn't hitting the mark anymore? Believe me, I've had that moment. There's a certain magic when a PCP airgun feels like a natural extension of your body, each shot landing exactly where you want it with just the faintest sound slicing through the air. That's the kind of connection I look for when testing out these pre-charged pneumatics. After 3 solid months of shooting nearly every day, my neighbors are convinced I'm gearing up for an all-out rodent invasion. After burning through pellets, air fills, and countless targets, I've put together a lineup that's genuinely worth your hard-earned dollars. Whether you're a seasoned marksman or just getting hooked on this strange but awesome hobby, I've got some solid recommendations coming your way. Let's get into it. Gamo Arrow. Let's kick things off with what I call the PCP World Starter Pack that doesn't suck the Gamo Arrow. For about the price of a casual dinner date, you get a rifle that performs way beyond its price class. Straight out of the box, this Spanish-made airgun doesn't feel like a budget piece. The straight pull bolt runs smoothly, and chambering a pellet feels oddly satisfying, like popping premium-grade bubble wrap. Southpaws and right-handed shooters alike will appreciate the ambidextrous setup, which is not something you can always count on in this price tier. One standout feature is what Gamo refers to as their Whisper Fusion sound dampening system. While the name sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, it actually delivers. I've had squirrels pause and look around confused after I fired because they couldn't tell where the noise came from. With roughly 90 shots per fill, mine gave me closer to 87. You'll get hours of backyard fun before needing to recharge your tank. The custom action trigger, or CAT, is surprisingly crisp for something in the entry-level category. It actually feels intentional instead of the usual mushy nonsense. And with an 11mm rail, mounting optics is a breeze. No weird adapters required. Now here's the real surprise. Despite having an unregulated valve system, which usually means shot inconsistency, the Arrow manages to keep things shockingly uniform. I'm convinced the BSA, fast strike valve, is working some kind of sorcery under the hood. Is it perfect? Of course not. But if your budget's tight and you want serious performance without overspending, the Gamo Arrow hits the sweet spot. Umarex Notos CRK. Next up on the bench was the Umarex Notos CRK, a tiny titan that's got more punch than it lets on. It's compact enough to fit in most medium backpacks, yet fires like something twice its size. The 11 3/4-inch barrel had me doubtful at first, but after putting a few magazines through it, I was sold. Despite its short length, this thing slings pellets with authority. It uses a 7-round rotary magazine, not the largest capacity, but the auto-indexing action means you get clean, consistent loading every time. The side lever cocking action is just the right amount of firm, solid enough to feel mechanical, but smooth enough for long-range sessions. What impressed me most about the Notos is how it merges modern convenience with classic airgun character. The pistol grip fits my hand like it was custom molded, and after hours of shooting, I didn't feel any of the usual fatigue. The built-in suppressor actually does its job. My sound meter picked it up just a few decibels above a whispered political debate at Thanksgiving. The Notos really shines when it comes to versatility. I've brought it to everything from formal range days to casual backyard target plinking, and it hasn't let me down yet. The build quality feels surprisingly upscale for something that costs less than most folks spend on groceries for the week. Reloading the mag takes less than half a minute once you know the rhythm, and while beginners might fumble with the side lever at first, it becomes second nature fast. Honestly, Even if this gun cost $100 more, I'd still recommend it at the current price. It's an absolute steal. Benjamin Bulldog 357 PCP. Now we're stepping into what I call the wallet weeps. Heart rejoices category with the Benjamin Bulldog 357 caliber PCP. This isn't just a big bore air rifle, it's a statement. Built on a bullpup platform, the Bulldog compresses full-size stopping power into a compact package. The 357 caliber delivers massive force, all while keeping the form factor tight and manageable. The reversible side lever bolt is a real treat for ambidextrous shooters like me who switch hands depending on position or shooting angle. This is one feature that actually lives up to the hype. What really blew me away is how it stays relatively quiet for how much power it's pushing out. Thanks to sound trap technology, it muffles what should be a thunderous blast into something more akin to a polite throat clear. Even when launching 357 projectiles at over 900 feet per second, the Bulldog manages to stay shockingly subdued. Underneath the sleek exterior, it's built like a tank precision machined components. A rifled steel barrel and tight tolerances make for accuracy that's almost unfair. You'll find yourself nailing tight groups and wondering if you suddenly got better overnight. The 26-inch Picatinny rail gives you real estate for pretty much any accessory your heart desires. I've mounted everything from high-end optics to infrared gear during my testing runs. That said, there are a couple quirks mainly. The cocking lever sits a bit far back, which can be awkward for smaller shooters. Also, longer slugs might feed a bit rough depending on shape, but those minor issues pale in comparison to everything this rifle gets right. Bottom line, the Bulldog strikes an amazing balance between premium performance and cost. It doesn't feel overpriced, and it absolutely earns a spot in any serious shooter's arsenal. If you're after raw power without waking up the whole neighborhood, the Benjamin Bulldog 357 is the real deal. Umarex Gauntlet 2 landing squarely in third place is the Umarex Gauntlet 2, also known around the shop as the Zeos. This rifle sits right at that magical intersection of performance and price point, almost like it's cheating. For something that runs about $600, it competes way above its weight class. Depending on the pellets you're running, this beast can send them screaming down range at over 1,100 feet per second, which is just nuts for its tier. Now the trigger on this thing, it's a gem. Two-stage, light but defined, and it breaks like glass. You'll feel in control with every single pull. But the real game changer here is the 20-shot magazine. Once you step up from a 10-rounder to this, it's like jumping from an old landline to high-speed fiber. Less time reloading, more time drilling targets. Looks-wise, it's got a mean stance. My wife swears it looks like something from a sci-fi flick, but functionally, the bullpup layout makes it super maneuverable, and the barrel shroud isn't just for show, it helps dampen the report. That said, when you're dumping pellets fast, you'll hear it working. It's not the quietest airgun on this list, but it doesn't scream either. One of the standout features is the adjustable regulator. It delivers shot consistency that you'd usually only get from rifles that cost nearly twice as much. I put it through the chrono, and the numbers were tight minimal velocity deviation, which means tight groupings downrange. You only get around 25 good shots per fill, but each one counts. The only knock: the included manual reads like it got run through a blender in Google Translate. Luckily, we've got YouTube for that. Bottom line, this rifle gives you about 85% of what the big names offer for around 60% of the price. Unless you're shooting in the Nationals, this gauntlet is probably all you'll ever need. Sig Sauer, MCX Virtus. Taking the number 2 slot is the Sig Sauer MCX Virtus, an air rifle made for shooters who want tactical flair with precision performance. Think of it as SEG's answer to what if we took one of our beloved firearms and gave it a pre-charged pneumatic soul. It's got the familiar lines of the powder-burning version, but under the hood, it's all air-powered muscle. That 30-round magazine? A dream come true. I put hundreds of pellets through this thing over a weekend without needing to reload every 5 seconds. The trigger pull is a bit on the firm side, maybe 15% heavier than I'd like, but you get used to it fast. Some of the controls are there more for looks than function, but that doesn't take away from the authenticity. It feels like a SIG. Adjustable iron sights are actually functional rare these days, and you've got plenty of room to mount optics thanks to the full-length rail. Durability is top-notch. I managed to drop mine from the bench during a session accidentally, of course, and it held 0 like a champ. What really sets this rifle apart is the connection it builds with the shooter. From the textured grip, to the balanced weight, to the mechanical snap of the action, this thing is engineered to give you a satisfying, visceral experience. Is it a bit spendy? Sure, but if you're someone who appreciates design, build quality, and having something that's not just another cookie-cutter air rifle, the MCX Virtus is well worth the splurge. It's not just gear, it's a statement. Benjamin Marauder BP 2264S. And now, sitting proudly at number 1 is the Benjamin Marauder BP 2264S. This rifle is like that one buddy who's great at everything and somehow still humble about it. I've tested dozens of air guns over the past year, and I keep circling back to this one. It's that good. From the moment you shoulder it, the Marauder feels right. It's solid, but not cumbersome. The 2-stage trigger is nothing short of brilliant, crisp, clean, and tunable. The first time I broke a shot with it, I had to double-check that it actually fired. It's that smooth. The stock is ergonomically dialed in. Whether you're on a bench rest, standing freehand, or twisted around trying to line up on a squirrel that's been freeloading at your feeder, the rifle stays balanced and comfortable. Even after a 3-hour session, you won't feel like your arms are falling off. But the magic lies in its consistency. This rifle's regulated PCP system delivers tight velocity, spreads shot after shot. I've put hundreds of rounds across the chronograph, and the numbers barely budge. That level of consistency translates directly to precision. Whether it's your first shot or your 50th, you can trust it'll land where you expect. Customization is another big win. The rail system lets you mount everything from basic red dots to high-end optics. And if you like to tinker, the Marauder community has a huge aftermarket scene. I've slapped everything from budget scopes to thermal sights on this platform, and it handles them all without complaint. Beyond the numbers, this rifle just feels special. It bridges old-school shooting soul with modern airgun tech in a way that's hard to explain until you've tried it. Whether you're heading into the woods for small game, competing at the range, or just punching paper on a lazy Sunday, the Marauder delivers in spades. And there it is, my no-nonsense, totally biased, but thoroughly field-tested list of the 6 best PCP air rifles you can get your hands on right now. Got a favorite? Are you leaning toward the budget-friendly Gamo Aero, or did that Benjamin Marauder steal your heart like it did mine? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, if you found this roundup helpful, go ahead and click that like button and subscribe to Gunman Ballistic. It helps the channel more than you know, and it guarantees you won't miss our next drop of straight shooting content. Until next time, keep those air tanks topped off and your aim true. Happy shooting, folks!